Oh, there we go.
Cool. Should I start that over? Was that bad? It's pretty good. And then we'll just talk about the special guests.
I don't know.
I don't know. We don't know. Today's our first day. All right. So today's the first podcast, maybe the last. We don't know. It's the HammerTime Podcast. And today we've got Emma, the COO of Hammer, and Mike from Hammer. You've probably seen me all over Facebook and Instagram, marketing guy. And our special guest, John McIntyre. Welcome to the podcast.
Well, thanks for having me.
John McIntyre, he's got a long list of accomplishments. He was actually the former CEO of Hammer, and you would say at the peak of Hammer?
Oh, yeah. Certainly at the peak of monthly revenue.
Emma would fight that.
We beat that one 2 months ago.
That's right. So John, you were CEO of Hammer. Then you were also along the ride when John, the founder of Hammer, started the car dealership Better Motors.
Yeah.
CEO of Better Motors. And now you're founder and CEO of DealerBids. So
That's right.
I guess talk to us about
Yeah,
DealerBids.
well, I mean, if you go back into our history a little bit, you know, when COVID hit, we were located in San Diego, California, and, you know, we weren't sure what was going to happen to our business, to our industry, to the world. And the founder, you know, Jonathan Washburn, had already moved to Austin, Texas, and he'd always kind of wanted to have an opportunity to look at relocating our business, probably for tax reasons,
Yeah.
to a better tax
Definitely.
climate like Texas. And we took that opportunity and the uncertainty of it, and we shut down our operation in California, and a handful of core team members, including myself, moved to Austin, and we restarted Hammer, you know, based out of Texas. And at the same time, something that our founder thought was a great idea was, why don't we just start an online dealership ourselves so that we can really learn, you know, the ins and outs of running a car dealership. And I guess the funny part about all that was that none of us had come from the car industry.
Yeah.
You know, we built software for car dealerships, but we weren't car industry people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was by design. Not that there would be anything wrong with hiring those kind of people, but we just wanted to learn everything we could.
From the ground up.
From the ground up, yeah.
Mhm.
And that's kind of like Jonathan's take on things. Like, let's not take what people are already doing. Let's find out all the problems ourselves and, you know, just tackle them.
Yeah.
That came with some interesting challenges.
Yeah, like a first principles approach. I know we still do that, right?
Yeah, I think one of the interesting things about that is, you know, obviously there's a lot of competitors in automotive and the AI space and stuff like that, but not a lot of them have had their own dealerships, right? So we kind of have this advantage, I think, of working with dealers. We actually know the pain and the things they're going through. We're not some Silicon Valley company that's sitting behind a screen trying to figure out what dealers want. We actually know what works in the actual location. And I think there's a huge difference between those companies and then people that have been boots on ground. But the operation, Better Motors, back then, it grew pretty big. It wasn't just one location you guys had, right? It grew.
No, it grew really big.
Yeah.
I mean, I can remember when we first started out, like,
Yeah, me too.
you know, we didn't
Let's talk about it.
we didn't know how to buy cars. We'd never been to auctions.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have a dealer's license, you know. So I can remember sitting in an office not too far from here, thinking about, well, what cars would be the best cars to buy. And, you know, we got all our paperwork together and got our dealer's license so that we could start attending auctions. And, you know, the crazy part is that we made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, we were very naive about what arbitration meant, what condition reports meant, and, you know, how you deal with the auctions. And, you know, so we made a lot of interesting mistakes and had a lot of challenges to overcome in the beginning.
Yeah. What was the first car that we bought?
The first car we bought, well, we looked at Texas and we said, well, it's hot here, so people probably want white cars. And I see a lot of SUVs driving around.
Yeah.
And our first vehicle purchase from the auction was a Renegade, which is
Probably the worst.
Probably the worst.
So a rocky
classic.
start. But for people that don't know the full story, right? How big did the organization or the company in the dealer industry end up becoming? How many dealerships or locations did you guys open up?
Well, we had a central warehouse that we converted to a huge auto buying center right here in Austin. And we opened up buy centers all throughout the state. So we had a buy center in San Antonio, one in Houston, one in Dallas, and I think we even branched out to Oklahoma.
Yep.
And how that transpired is, at the peak of COVID, when inventory was very scarce and auction prices were very high, I can remember coming in one day and just kind of privately got on the computer and I reached out to a couple of private sellers. One was on Craigslist and one was on Facebook Marketplace. And that afternoon we bought a BMW 5 Series and a Tesla. And that 5 Series, when it pulled in, we were like just blown away. It was such a clean car.
Yeah.
We got it at such a good price. We flipped it within a couple of days, had good front end margin. We made some back end margin on the deal. And the Tesla, we sold it, I think, the next day. And it kind of like opened our eyes to just a whole new way of doing things.
And that kind of catapulted you guys into not running it as a standard dealership, right? You guys
Yeah.
started having your own lanes at the auctions.
We did. We pivoted
Yeah.
immediately. We stopped all external purchasing and went 100% to a model to buy from private sellers.
Yeah.
And we knew that we had some advantages in that process because we would go out and pick up cars from people's homes. We do the paperwork and the transaction at their location.
Yeah.
And we found that, we could really generate a lot of interest. And of course, the market was priced so high that people were happy to sell their vehicles. And,
Yeah.
we kind of got off to an explosive start.
Yeah, I think at one point we were doing 100 vehicles a week, I think.
Yeah.
At Dallas auction.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Manheim.
So you're right. Very quickly, we got a dedicated lane at Dallas Manheim and one at San Antonio Manheim. People got to know us. And here was the crazy part about it, though. When we also had an online business, we were trying to sell cars nationwide. And so we could just keep the hand-picked vehicles that we wanted
Yeah.
for ourselves.
Yeah.
Make sure that we were priced really competitively on all the advertising sites like Car Gurus and Cars.com and Auto Trader, and also drive really good value to the wholesale market by selling at the auction. So it was quite an interesting start, and we grew really fast.
What do you think led to you guys being able to grow so fast? I'm thinking in related to the market right now with tariffs and whatever other reasons people have for having low inventory. What's something that dealers could do right now to learn from how you guys scaled and grew that side of the business so fast?
Well, I think it's just not being constrained by legacy systems,
Yeah.
traditional ways of thinking and doing business. And just having a mindset of, we can pivot on a dime
Yeah.
and just take advantage of what's right there. What are the opportunities right in front of us? And that opportunity was, we needed cars. The auction was really, really competitive and prices were crazy high. And we found that going to the private party marketplace and being able to offer the kind of dollars that we were for their vehicles was just incredible for us.
Yeah.
People were really happy to sell a vehicle that they had been in for 3 years for, basically what they paid for it. And there were a lot of opportunities like that. So we capitalized
Yeah.
on the opportunities in front of us, and we weren't constrained by, traditional ways of doing business.
How do you think that relates to the market today?
Well, the market today is different. I think that auction pricing and vehicles at auctions are still very difficult.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of dealerships have to put a lot more work into buying a good quality vehicle at the kind of price they want at an auction.
Yeah.
We saw some recent changes in the market due to the potential impact of tariffs, and for a moment that really spiked used car pricing. But I think things have calmed down and settled down a little bit right now. I know that what I'm seeing right now in the market, there's just a lot of demand for later model used vehicles, less than 3 years old. That seems to be the sweet spot for what dealerships are looking for right now. And most of my customers are willing to pay more for those kind of vehicles.
So talk about your customers a little bit. DealerBids.
Yeah.
Your new business, DealerBids.
Yeah.
Started, the last year or so? Or
It's been about a little over 2 years now.
2 years?
Yeah. So when we decided to, part ways from Hammer and try to do something else on my own, my partner, Duncan McDonald, and we started DealerBids. And we took what we learned that day, when I bought those 2 cars, and what Duncan learned while he was with us at Better Motors, and we built a platform around it. And we started off with, I think maybe 2 or 3 dealerships who were interested in working with us. I can remember, they were dealerships that were really hungry for inventory.
Yeah.
They were probably in some more remote locations and didn't have access to, some of the opportunities that maybe more mainstream dealerships right on Auto Dealership Row in a major city had. So we just, we started with a dream and a vision that private party is a great place to buy inventory to augment your, your used vehicle pre-owned inventory needs.
Mm-hmm.
And we just kept building upon that, and getting better at what we do, keeping our costs low, and bringing on strong dealerships that will take the time to participate with us on our platform, and in return, they benefit really greatly from that as well.
So for people that don't know DealerBids, in one sentence, what is the service you guys do for them?
That's a great question. So DealerBids is a software technology platform and a whole team of people that work around the clock to source the vehicles that you're interested in, weed out all the backyard flippers and car salespeople at a dealership to find private party sellers who have proper title work and paperwork and ownership, and bring those people to your store for an in-person appraisal and acquisition of the vehicle.
Okay, that's amazing. One of the things we hear a lot on Hammer when we talk to clients is they struggle with getting inventory in, and one of the main reasons that people say is the tariffs. So, what's your stance on that? Is that a real problem that we're having, and it is causing the market to kind of tank in terms of used cars for people to get them in, or
Are used cars tanking because of that, or are they going up in value?
Going up in value to the point where people can't buy them?
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay, so on the demand.
Is that a real thing, or is it a smokescreen, you think?
Well, it's the market reaction. It's all based on supply and demand. When the tariffs were first announced and Trump's policy, many of our dealerships scrambled. They, they started. Their fear was the tariffs are going to impact my new vehicle inventory, especially coming from from Asia and Europe and other countries, that might make supply very low on the new car side. So what's that going to do to the supply on the used car side? It's going to become very demanding, right? So I think that there was just an overreaction.
Okay.
The market fluctuates daily and weekly, and the market is whatever the market is. But I can tell you right now, I've seen that some of our dealership customers may have been a little too aggressive and maybe over-purchased during that short window. And certainly market values have come down a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. But there's still an impact. If you're going to add tariffs on vehicle production for inventory coming into the States, that's got to be passed on to somebody at some point.
Yeah, it's a tax.
It's a tax, right?
Plain and simple.
Yeah, and OEMs are not going to bear that burden completely for too long.
So I saw one of them. Who was it, Volkswagen was doing that?
Well, I think a number of them were saying that at least for some period of time, we're not going to raise our prices due to the tariffs.
Yeah, I think Toyota said like
Or Toyota.
3 months, something.
Yeah, there's been a number of them that
A couple of them,
have made that commitment. Yeah. So, I think that's a good strategy to help to keep demand high. You don't want your sales to be be affected too much in some uncertain times. But I think with things that have settled down in terms of trade negotiations and things like that, it's just going to become a normal part of business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my understanding is if you sign up or you use DealerBid, you essentially have a whole outsourced team that's invested in making sure you get people in to get used cars appraised, and you can get used inventory into your lot.
Well, it's a very, very accurate statement. But here's what we learned. And it was such a valuable lesson for a bunch of tech guys who have never worked in a dealership that built software in a bubble.
Yeah.
Right? You talked about those companies that come out of Silicon Valley. They think they know what's best for dealerships, but they haven't suffered through the pain of what it's like working at a dealership. That was an eye-opening process for me. It changed my perspective on everything in terms of when I get on the phone, interrupt a decision maker at a dealership, try to get that general manager on the phone, not having really an understanding or some empathy for what that day is like.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of software is built to basically flip a switch to generate a slew of inbound leads to a dealership, expecting them to handle all this additional work.
Yeah.
You know.
So I'm assuming one of the things that makes your company so powerful is it's a team that's dedicated to one thing, right? Which is bringing this inventory in for your client.
Absolutely.
Whereas dealers, they wear multiple different hats, like you were saying. There's so many different things they have to take care of: financing, cleaning the cars, repairs, whatever it is. Right?
Yeah.
Do you think that one of the reasons why you guys are so successful is because it's one focus for your team, and also does responding fast to these potential sellers on the market matter?
Absolutely. We know that in any type of, engagement, consumer engagement, business engagement, time is of the essence.
Yeah.
And I was having a conversation with someone today about how social media, how our environment, how everything that we do today has really reshaped the way we look at things.
Yeah.
I can tell you that my attention span on something I'm interested in is so short that if you don't engage with me, like at the moment of my inquiry or my click on an ad or my filling out some type of form, it's very, very likely, 95% or better, that you will never connect with me at all.
Yeah.
Right? So we are bombarded with so many different things to try to capture our interest.
Our attention.
Right? And it's easy to do that, right? We'll engage, but if you're not on it, like within seconds, it used to be minutes, and I'm telling you now, it's within seconds. If you're not engaging to capture my peak of interest, the likelihood that you'll move me down your sales funnel is almost none.
Yeah. I think there was a study, we often use this at Hammer, but at this point it's 10 years old, I think.
Yeah, it's really outdated.
The Harvard study, right?
Yep.
It's if more than 5 minutes goes by between your lead comes in and you answer it, that lead is 85% less likely to close into a deal. That was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So now...
Before TikTok.
Yeah, before Instagram and TikTok and all these other things that distract us all the time. Now that response time has to be instant. And I think it's just, whether you're a small independent lot or you're a big franchise dealership, doesn't matter. It's impossible for you to work these leads the way they should be worked, whether it's acquisitions or it's sales leads.
100%.
Yeah.
When I can remember when I would wear the sales manager's hat at Better Motors, I would come in the morning and I would just look at all the leads that were waiting for us from the previous night while I was at home, while I wasn't online, while I wasn't working.
Yeah.
And I can remember being asked, what are you going to do about getting through all these leads? And my answer was, look, I don't have time to get through all the old leads. I'm dealing with the leads that are coming in right now, today, this morning. They are the higher priority. And I was overwhelmed trying to find how we could get our team, who were dedicated to this process, to even respond to the older leads. Something that I always say, and I wish more dealership people would do this, is that if you don't test your own systems, your own avenues of marketing, your own website, your own paid ads, whatever it is you're running, if you don't test that to see what that experience is like for the consumer or the interested party, you really have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
So that's something I've always done. I believe that if you're going to build solutions, you should test how your own processes work. And I am just blown away by how ineffective a lot of these systems are today in terms of getting back to me, whether I'm trying to buy a vehicle, sell a vehicle, ask a question. Right? We've said that our brains have been rewired to everything being instant. So come at me 4 hours later, and what's the opportunity? More than that, come at me and miss the mark. Right? A lot of these systems are unable to capture what the initial engagement, the initial level, or the initial topic of interest was. So I asked about a specific question about a vehicle, maybe even a detailed question about a particular vehicle, and I get some generic email drip campaign response. Later. It's such a poor experience.
Especially the first impression. That's your first impression of the dealership is, wow, I guess they don't really care about what I'm asking. They don't care about me as a person, as a customer. So I'll just go somewhere else.
It's very disheartening. I think it's really easy to let people down. I don't know about you, but I know that through my years of working in this industry, there are a lot of misconceptions about auto dealerships. There are a lot of people that have been, trained to believe, or maybe from some old past experiences that
they get a terrible rap.
They get a terrible rap.
It's probably the worst.
So it's really easy to just confirm that with some poor, lame response 5 hours later or 3 days later. And miss the mark when you do it. Yeah.
I mean, have you seen the Shane Gillis stand-up where he's talking about car dealerships?
No.
He's like, man, I used to work at a car dealership. He's like, it's the only place left, the only job left where you actively go out every single day and you go, I'm just going to go lie. I'm just going to go out there and lie to everybody today. I'm going to go lie to a mom about a minivan.
But you know what? So, you know.
I mean, it's obviously, he's stretching a little bit, but
Yeah.
you get it. Yeah.
Well, I want to give car dealerships a break on this because, you know, what we're talking about, like in that job at that dealership, what I realized was my day, there was no planning of my day.
Yeah.
Right? What was our primary goal?
Sell a car.
Sell cars.
Yeah.
Secondary goal, buy
Buy a
cars so
car.
we can sell them,
Yep.
right? That's what we focused on.
Was it?
So we had people who would just show up randomly. You know, people would drive in from other cities.
Yeah.
People who were calling, people who were texting, people who were emailing, people who were responding to our advertised platforms, right? We're jumping on all those things.
Yeah.
We also have things that, you know, the infrastructure of the business. What about vendors? What about partners? What about corporate America? What about the reports? What about the accounting?
The
right?
building.
The building, everything.
Everything.
It was just nonstop.
Yeah.
But in the middle of all that chaos, what's the most important thing to any business?
Customer experience.
It's the customers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's their experience.
Yeah.
So as easy as it is to make a bad impression to people, imagine what you can do if you can make a good impression.
Yeah.
Like you can go from such a low expectation on your initial engagement. Oh my
Yep.
God, I'm probably going to hear some, you
Yeah.
know, somebody's going to message me 5 hours later. It says, my name is Peter. Call
Call
me.
me. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, and I use that jokingly, but I do remember a dealership, and his responses to the ads that we would publish for him from Hammer were every time,
Yeah.
my name is Peter, call me with a phone number. And I remember calling that guy and saying, Peter, look, if they wanted to call you, they would have
would've,
called you in the
yeah.
beginning.
Yeah.
You're 6 hours late asking them to call you after they've inquired about a vehicle.
That actually leads me
point.
to, you know, as somebody that's been on literally every side of automotive at this point, right? You've been at the dealership, you've been on the tech side, now you're on the acquisition side and hands-on with a lot of these dealers. I want to see if there's some of these myths that you can disprove or confirm or whatever.
Okay.
So there's kind of three common things that we hear,
Yeah.
and I want to hear your perspective on it. So a lot of dealers we talk to, they say, yeah, you know, responding to leads is important, but after 7 o'clock, I'm going home.
Yeah.
And anybody that comes in after that time are not serious buyers.
Yeah.
What's your
Well,
take on that?
I've heard that so many times.
Yeah.
And my take on that is that's just an excuse. Maybe it's a very valid excuse. Maybe I need to say that so that I can go home after a 16-hour day and get a little rest.
Yeah.
But it's just completely not true. You know, what we found, and I've tested this theory. I used to have dealers tell me that people who responded at 2 in the morning were probably high on drugs and not serious buyers.
Yeah.
And I can tell you through my experience and looking at the data and the conversations and the responses, I've watched people who many times over would come into the dealership through various messaging or texting platforms and ask the same question.
Yeah.
The same question. And 2 weeks down the road, finally get to the point where they engaged and said, I'm ready to buy.
Yep.
You know, the dealership who has that attitude that, you know, that person who keeps asking the same question isn't serious, or that person who comes in at 2 in the morning is not a valid buyer, right? They're just missing out on those opportunities when that person says, yes, you were patient with me, you
Yeah.
kept responding,
Yeah.
you built rapport, I got trust, now I'm ready to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one of the interesting stats that I a lot of times give to people that say they're not serious buyers is about 48% of leads come in after hours,
So true.
which, you know, if you're a dealership that's spending $10,000, that's $5,000 of your ad spend that you're literally saying isn't serious
Yeah.
buyers.
Emma, you work all day, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Do you have time to shop for cars when you're at work?
absolutely not.
Are you a car purchaser?
I would be.
So if you're looking to buy a car,
Yeah.
when are you most likely to do your shopping?
When I have my legs up at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
After I feed my husband.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember a scenario once. I was at home. It was probably 9 o'clock at night. And I saw an ad for a Dodge Hellcat.
Yeah.
And I had no interest in a Hellcat. I'm a BMW guy.
Okay,
Right?
yeah.
And I saw this ad, and it was a compelling ad. It was an OEM ad.
Yeah.
And it said, you could get by a Dodge Hellcat for like $7.99 a month or something that just caught my attention. And I responded to it.
Yeah.
I responded to it. I was like, wow, this,
Yeah.
you know, I want some more interest in it. It really piqued my curiosity. The price was right. The horsepower was right. And I thought, this might be fun. I didn't get any response.
Yeah.
The next day, I got bombarded by emails from all kinds of dealerships. Most of them had no idea of the ad that I even responded to.
Yeah.
Right? And none of them really hit the mark on what the offer was or answered, you know, I felt like it was a complete waste of time. And I thought to myself, man, if somebody would have responded, like at 9 o'clock at night when I submitted my inquiry, I'd probably have a Hellcat sitting out in my garage that I really didn't know what I was going to do with.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. That hit me really hard because that was a true story, and you know, it really set the tone for me.
It's like the TikTok economy. I like Gary Vee talks about it a lot. The TikTokification of everything.
Yeah.
Have you seen a kid scroll on TikTok or on Instagram?
Yeah.
Going through reels?
Yeah.
I mean, they'll fly through every second.
Yeah.
But then something captures their
Boom,
attention.
they stop.
And they stop. And it's the same thing. It's like something caught your attention.
Yeah.
And you
stopped.
You stopped.
Yeah. And
you wanted to
the
engage.
experience was horrible.
And the experience was terrible.
It was really bad.
So it leaves you with a bad taste in your mouth, and you're just.
But I can
and
also
no
tell you.
Hellcat.
I can also tell you.
No Hellcat.
Yeah, but I've also had some experiences when I've reached out to multiple dealerships trying to buy a car, and one guy, maybe it was his turn in the rotation of leads.
Yeah.
Or maybe he was just really hungry. He responded. He was on top of his game.
Yeah.
He answered me. He answered my questions. The next morning, he got the details together, you know, and I just remember like how good that experience was. And you know, I bought a car 100%.
Plot twist. It was Hammer AI.
Probably.
So let's talk a little bit about Hammer AI because you know
Things have changed. Yeah.
things have changed a lot. You know, we used to back in my day.
Yeah, let's go back to the beginning.
Well, back in
'cause
my
you were there in
day-
the beginning.
Yeah.
When Peter was telling people to call him with his phone number, right? Something we realized, this was back when we were just doing Craigslist ads for dealerships,
Talk about that.
right? Well, we were one of the first companies that automated the posting of dealership vehicles to Craigslist, right? We were there when that was free. We created these great routines where we would just repost dealerships inventory, so they were always at the top of the page on Craigslist.
Before the algorithm changed, it was just whoever posted first was.
The more you posted, the further, and it was free for dealerships. So of course,
Wow.
Yeah, and that was
Now
great.
what is it? $5?
Yeah, then they
it's
started
$5
charging
per
for
post.
$5 per post,
yeah.
right? But this was back when Craigslist was a really popular and strong source for buying cars, and
Before Facebook Marketplace,
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
any of these
before
things. Yeah.
OfferUp, before all these places, yeah. And then what we realized was getting people to pick up the phone. There was a resistance to calling a dealership, right? So, you know, Craigslist used to always be email-based before they had these new chat features and these textable numbers, right? Back in the day, you could only respond to an ad. You know, you might see a posted phone number, but people wouldn't call them.
Right.
And then the email process was, you know, that wasn't a very good experience either.
Yeah.
So we came out with textable phone numbers, and we would put textable numbers, and we posted that all over our ads. And then what we saw was a major influx.
Yeah.
Right? Texting became the norm.
Yeah.
And we saw a major influx of leads. But like you said, the data showed that the majority of leads came in after normal working hours,
Yep.
and our dealerships would not respond. They didn't have time to respond.
Right.
And even the ones that had teams and places to do that or thought they were doing a really good job at it, we could see from the data that they were missing a lot of opportunities.
Yep.
I remember coming to Jonathan one day and saying, hey, you know what would be great? What if we just answered all their messages for them?
Yeah.
And it was just kind of a crazy idea I was throwing out there, but he said, why don't we do that? And we started off with a team of people inside of Hammer
Yeah.
that were just answering messages for our dealerships.
Yeah.
We were just doing it for free, just to help them out.
Yeah.
And we would try to call them up after we got an interested party to make that work. And what we found was that, wow, let's just scale this. Let's figure out a way to do this for all of our dealerships. We had like probably 2,000 or 3,000 dealerships at the time that were using our services. And that became something that we did with humans.
Yeah.
Right? This is before AI was even a topic. You know, there was some machine language talking and things like going on, but productized AI capability did not exist. And we did that. We had 150 people.
Yeah.
Right?
Essentially a virtual BDC team with real people, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that worked 24/7.
Yeah.
We answered leads all day and all night. And the conversion became really good.
Yeah.
So we were able to take advertising spend, a little bit of money for our services, and create great conversion and ROI for our dealerships.
Yeah.
Right? Well, I mean, today, like with the new mindset, with the way that we have reprogrammed our brains, with the way consumers are bombarded with so many different opportunities and sources of buying and selling, humans aren't even fast enough.
They're not.
Mm-hmm.
They're not.
I think, a turning point for Hammer was we've always had a strong commitment. We were actually the kind of like the underdog. We were like, we are going to stick with our real people because chatbots are just not good enough, right?
That's
it was
true.
always like, I'm still shocked that franchises, a lot of big dealerships make one critical mistake, which is on their website, you go to their web chat, you say, hey, is this available? And it's a form that's asking for your name and phone number. And you're like, I just want to know if this car is available, right? So as a company, we had a strong commitment. Until AI can beat our real humans, we're not changing. And that day came where it was outperforming real people sitting there.
Yeah.
It was faster, smarter, better, more empathetic, more sympathetic. It could follow up. It had everything. And so we made literally from one day to another, a critical shift to using AI. And I think we were one of the first companies in the space to do this.
Absolutely.
Which was
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah. I remember the day, actually. I remember sitting there with John.
Yeah.
And we're on a call with Amanda, who's
Yeah.
head of the team of
Yeah.
our reps that were responding for dealerships. And he just said, let's just turn it off.
Yep.
Turn it off. Let's see what happens.
Yep.
Let's see if it breaks.
Yeah.
And we'll fix it if we have to.
Yeah.
And they turned it off,
Yeah.
meaning they turned off. We turned off
The human
response.
Yeah.
And let AI just work its magic, and it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, there was like a couple little tweaks we had to make here and there, but like
Yeah.
it was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was very good, actually. And it's only gotten better since then. It's just gotten
Absolutely.
I think Hammer had an advantage because we were willing to take those risks early on. And so we have a head start ahead of other companies
Yep.
in terms of the customization and everything that we can do within it. Because there's so many different aspects of training and customizing it for dealerships to make it fit their specific needs, right?
Yeah.
Like, again, dealers is not one size fits all, which I think a lot of companies are trying to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the opposite of what we're doing.
Well, that's the power of AI.
Yeah.
Right? AI is you're able to create a persona.
Yeah.
Right. The type of responses,
Yeah.
the type of engagement
Yeah.
that really represents your brand.
Yeah.
And what you believe is what your dealership's about.
Yeah.
It can also just be your preferences. I want
Yeah.
a strong, I want a strong message. I want
Yeah.
a softer message. I want a strong, aggressive approach. I want a more laid-back approach. Whatever you like.
Yeah.
You can really customize that through AI. The chatbot is the same widget that does the same thing. It's annoying to me.
Yeah.
I just wish it wouldn't even exist.
Yeah.
I hate when it pops up on
Yeah,
the,
yeah,
I
yeah.
just want it to click it and keep it closed.
Yeah. Yeah.
It follows me around. It's just constantly trying to get my contact information.
It's
That's-
surprising how few dealers actually know that their website is doing this. A lot of times on calls, we'll say, go ahead and open up your website.
Yep.
Try to communicate with your dealership. Again, like you said earlier,
Yeah.
test out your own process.
Absolutely.
Yep. Always test it.
Absolutely.
I think with Hammer, what we started out doing when we switched to AI is we found critical stats that we knew needed to be improved in automotive.
Yeah.
So one was instant responses, right? The whole culture now is instant gratification. So that was
100%.
one.
Yep.
The other one was
But not just a response.
A response,
It's
yeah.
got to be
perfect.
a relevant
Yeah.
response too.
Yes.
That's the other key.
Yes.
Is like you can't just send like a chatbot
High
response.
speed.
Yeah.
How about this, Emma? Hey, is this vehicle available?
Yeah.
Thank you for responding.
Yeah.
Thank you for inquiring about this vehicle.
Yeah.
I need to have somebody on the sales team reach out to you. What's your best phone number?
Yeah.
Can I
Horrible.
schedule you for an appointment? Yeah. Horrible experience.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we looked at the engagement rate, right? How fast people are actually getting to their leads.
Yeah.
The second thing we looked at is how many times you actually have to follow up with your leads to get them to a close. And I believe NADA came out with this stat a couple of years ago, which is most deals close after 6 follow-ups,
Sounds about right to me.
which, I mean, even running a sales floor at Hammer internally, salespeople are just too busy and chaotic and impulsive to the point where they're not going to follow up with somebody that doesn't respond to them 6 times.
100%.
Just not. It's too discouraging.
Yep.
But if you know now that so much of your marketing dollars is dependent on you following up with them consistently,
Yes.
it's a game changer, right? And the last thing I think we implemented was also being able to respond to email leads. So I've heard this through the grapevine when you guys had Better Motors, it was exceptionally difficult for you guys to get the salespeople to work email leads. So leads that
I
came
think
in.
we did.
Yeah.
I don't remember ever working. Oh no, that's not true. I did. I
Yeah.
tried
Did we
it.
use Hammer
I
at the
tried
time?
it.
Were we using Hammer at Better Motors?
Yeah.
We were, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I do remember trying that.
It's difficult. Nobody wants to sit down and write an email, but there is some meat on them. And so what we do for these leads that come in now for dealerships without a phone number on it is we shoot out an email asking people, hey, let's just have a textable conversation. And it actually has a pretty solid conversion rate.
It's good. Well, any conversion rate is better than none. Right?
Exactly, yeah.
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 The thing about trying to respond to emails individually is just takes too much time.
Yeah.
The return for a person to do that, you know,
Yeah.
with his valuable, time during the day or her valuable time during the day, it's just too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when AI can do it so much better.
So much better. So I think that those were kind of the first three major hurdles we wanted to perfect, right?
Yeah.
Figure out how do we accomplish these things that the data very clear is stating that this is necessary to run a successful dealership
Yes.
that's profitable with low cost.
Yeah.
The newer stuff is becoming an agentic company, which maybe before diving into automotive, it'd be interesting to talk about what does it mean to be an agentic company and like how is that changing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's jump into it. What does it mean?
What does it mean?
I think she's nudging you.
You do.
All right. So at Hammer, we've actually changed recently. We've gone from being
Yeah.
in a very short period of time because
Yeah.
it's only been what, a year and a half since we got rid of the humans.
Yeah, about 2
The
years
humans.
or so.
Sounds
Yeah.
terrible, but
Yeah.
yeah, about 2 years since we went from human response to AI response.
Yeah.
And now we're trying to move to a fully agentic company. And for those that don't know what agentic means, Emma, can you dive into more of that and
Yeah.
tell everyone?
Yeah, so obviously the whole world is changing right now, right? We're kind of moving from being able to leverage AI as a tool to where AI is going to leverage us as a tool, which sounds terrifying. But the best way I can describe it is that soon AI is going to be able to do multiple tasks for you, right? So like right now you can ask AI, hey, can you send a message to this person? But what we're moving towards is AI working autonomously on multiple tasks. So, hey, I need you to send a text to this guy, and then in 3 weeks I need you to follow up, and then I need you to process the credit application for him. So it's having an agent that's working on your behalf. So an example of that currently at Hammer is when you have a dealer that calls you, Hammer actually transcribes that conversation, and then
A customer that calls.
yeah, a
you.
customer calls
Yep.
into the dealership, right? So you're calling in, you want to buy a car. I'm the dealer. I'm talking to you, right? We're discussing trade-ins. We're discussing financing. I got to send you our address, and I got to send you our financing link. By the time I hang up the phone, most dealers have already had 3 or 4 other people come in and ask them questions, and they lose track of what that conversation was like. Well, when you use Hammer, your AI agent is listening into that conversation, and the second you hang up the phone, it goes and executes on what you promised on that call.
So if you promise a credit app,
Wow.
I mean,
That's
Hammer's
incredible.
sending the credit app
Yeah.
right
Yeah.
there on the phone.
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't even hang up yet.
Yeah, it gets off the phone and it would say, hey, Michael, thank you so much for our conversation. As promised, here's that credit application link. And when you get a chance, go ahead and send us those pictures for that Ford F-150 for the trade-in.
And then what happens if the person forgets to do that?
Send the
Yeah, let's say they don't.
They're not.
They
Hammer's
drop the
gonna
ball.
do it.
Yeah.
Hammer's doing
No,
it.
no,
for
I'm
you.
not talking about the salesperson. I'm talking about the consumer.
Oh,
Let's
we
say
follow
that
up.
You follow up,
okay.
right?
We follow up,
Yeah.
Well, AI
absolutely.
doesn't have a problem with follow up. It remembers it.
Remembers everything.
Yeah.
It follows up. Another great example of
memory.
our follow-ups I just love is we had a dealer come in and he had a lead from, I think it was a younger girl who was absolutely in love with this vehicle, but she didn't have her driver's license yet. And she told the dealer, she's like, I'm taking my test in 2 weeks. I'm so excited to go do it. And I think a lot of dealers would have just stopped responding, right? That's like a
Yeah.
2 weeks down the road. I don't really know what
Yeah.
to do about this.
Yeah.
Low priority.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
There's 100 new leads coming in a day. Like, I'm going to
Absolutely.
forget about her. But when you use an AI that locks all that information,
Yeah.
our AI locked that, and then 2 weeks later followed up with her on the date she said she was taking her test and said, hey, Sophia, how was your driving test? Are you ready to come in and take the car for a spin? It's been waiting for you.
That's amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
That customer came in and bought that car, right?
Yeah.
One, because we followed up with them, but she also felt like it was amazing service.
It's personable.
Very personal.
Having a business that remembered a really big day for you
Yeah.
and followed up on that day is
Excellent.
something unlike most dealers are able to do.
Yeah, they're just too busy.
Yeah.
Just like I talked about, they're too busy. There's a whole influx of new leads.
Yeah.
What happened to the old leads?
Yeah.
Here's the crazy part. You know the amount of money that is spent on all the various advertising platforms for a dealership to drive lead volume into the business?
Yeah.
Say what, a franchise dealership, how much they're
Well,
spending?
it could be, 15, 20, 30, 40, 50,000 and more.
Yeah.
Per
right?
month.
Per month. Yeah, it's huge. Some of these budgets are gigantic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Why would you spend all that money and just skim the surface in terms of converting them to
Yeah.
business.
Yeah.
Right? You know why? It's because nobody has time to do it otherwise. There's just too much.
Yep.
Right?
There's not enough time in the day. Yeah.
There's
and
not enough time in the
people
day.
to do it. And
The funnel starts so big,
Uh-huh.
right? And this is where AI plays a key role. I think AI, there's a really good combination between what AI can do and what a person can do.
Yeah.
The person, our time is so valuable that we want to sift through the large part of the funnel, narrow it down to the specific things that need that human touch, right?
Right.
That final, get it over the hump.
test drive.
That speak, I'm your guy.
Yeah.
Right? You've submitted the application. You're booked for a test drive. Come see me when you get here. I'm going to take good care of you.
Right.
Right? So if we can get that funnel down to the smaller part where the human person gets involved,
Yeah.
not ignoring anybody at the top of the funnel, right? Because
Yeah.
that means the funnel, instead of getting down really narrow, it's going to be wider when it gets to the bottom. There's going to be more real opportunities for the real people at the dealership to finalize and close and get that business.
Yeah. Good
That's
point.
the combination between AI and humans. Like, I would love to have an agent that listens to my conversations,
Yes.
that executes on my behalf, because you know why? I forget.
Forget.
I get too busy.
Yeah.
I get sidetracked.
You know, that was actually a side product of the agent we were surprised about. So many dealers said, oh my gosh, just being able to see the transcript of my calls has been so helpful. At the end of the day, I can go in, I can actually look at the phone conversations that I've had and see what I've promised, because I don't remember. I have a million things going on.
Yeah.
You know who remembers?
AI.
AI?
Well, AI.
Yeah.
Yeah, AI definitely remembers.
The customer, too.
Possibly.
The customer remembers.
Yeah.
The customer remembers that,
Yeah.
You promised
you
something.
promised something.
Yeah. Yeah.
They took the bait. They were willing to engage, and then dropped the ball.
Drop
Yeah.
the ball. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that I truly believe in, a lot of dealers, they're actually scared of AI, right? And what it's going to do to their staff. And a lot of people, they run it as a family business.
Yeah.
And their employees matter to them, right? It's people they work with for 20 years. And when we talk to them, they're like, I don't want to replace them with AI. And I think a big misconception is that AI is going to take away all jobs.
Yeah.
I think that the truest statement at the current time is that AI won't replace humans, but it will replace humans that don't use AI, right?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
So-
That's really
That's a good point.
And I think dealers, that's something that some people are a little bit slower to realize. About 25% of the automotive market is already using AI. So if you have about 75% of dealerships that are still kind of on the backlog,
Yeah.
and the 25% that are using AI, 100% of them has seen an increase in their revenue and actually profit as well. And so that's some of the interesting conversations that I'm having with dealers is, they're like, Q1 and Q2 has been horrible for me, but I'm signing up for all these other lead sources. They're like on 15 different lead sources.
Yeah.
And I try to tell them, has adding more lead sources increased your sales? And they're always saying no. And I'm like, well, let's talk
Very
about the
frustrating.
root problem now. So you're spending more and more and more money on lead sources. You actually don't have time to get to them, and you're maxing out your budget. And what we're finding with dealers that are signing up for Hammer is they come in with like 15, 20 lead sources, whatever.
Yeah.
And they find that they're able to actually decrease their advertising spend. One, because they get excellent reporting showing them which lead sources are sending them duplicate leads and like
Yeah.
inflating them. But also because rather than only capitalizing on 20% of them, right, the low-hanging fruit that their salespeople are actually working well,
Yeah.
they now start capitalizing on 100% of them. One, by instantly engaging the ones that are ready to buy today,
Yes.
but also the long-term ones. Most dealers I talk to, they say about 20%, 30% of their leads are actual buyers that are ready to buy within the next 2 weeks. But the remaining 60, 70% aren't people that are not going to buy. They're just not ready right now.
Right.
And so what does that look like? Salespeople are always going to optimize for the lowest hanging fruit right then and there, right? The new hot leads that come in.
Yeah.
But you're throwing about 80 or whatever, 60% down the drain by not staying in front of these people. Because
Yes.
guess what? If you follow up with Michael and you say, hey, Michael, checking in, it's been a month since you reached out last time. How's your car driving? Are you ready to trade it in?
Yeah.
When Michael is ready to trade in his car, it's going to be your dealership that's on the forefront of his mind. It's not going to be Joe Smo down
Absolutely.
the street.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's a nice touch, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. I don't think a drip campaign has the same effect that
No.
AI does. Like
You know what
an actual
my
message. and-
response to the drip campaign is unsubscribe.
Yeah, yeah.
I get so
Exactly.
annoyed with it. Just unsubscribe. It
Yep.
was- yeah, the initial connection was bad, and the drip campaign is even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just pisses me off.
Me too. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah.
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 I think that what we're talking about here is that we want the people at a dealership to focus their energy on the highest probability things and deals right in front of them.
Yes.
Right? And the best way to do that is to make sure that as you're sifting through all, all the rocks, you're able to find the gold nuggets that are in there.
Yeah.
Right? How does any one person know who the real interested buyer is going to be unless literally you touch them all.
Yeah.
Right? When you touch them all, you're going to increase your
likelihood.
Your likelihood. You're going to increase your volume, and it's going to give you actually more to work on as a human.
Yeah.
But it's going to be the high quality stuff that's made its way down to where you need to get involved.
You know what else is really interesting? It hasn't gone live yet for our dealers, but it's live for an internal team. I'm very excited for our dealers to see this as well as our partners. But we launched some really, really cool reporting that is incredibly eye-opening because, a lot of dealers, when I talk to them, they'll have a specific lead source that they love, right? Because they're getting a bunch of leads from it.
Yeah.
But when we're breaking down the stats for their individual lead sources, we're seeing that a lot of these lead companies are actually sending multiple leads for one person. So that's one thing. But the other thing we're able to see with our clients is when you have one superhero that is working every lead source you have consistently in the same way, then you can actually see which site sends you high quality lead based on engagement. And we've seen some shocking results from known brands out there that send high volume and the dealer loves them. But when you compare them, literally apples to apples, because you have the same AI working all the leads, you're seeing that some of them have a 10% engagement rate, whereas some of the smaller underdogs actually have like an 80% engagement rate.
You're talking fake leads?
Fake leads, I'm talking bot leads, I'm talking
Double dipping.
major double dipping.
Yeah.
I'm talking about, and a lot of this data wasn't available before, right? It's becoming available because it was hard to compare it before. You had 5 different salespeople, and you would just say, well, maybe Michael's a shit rep, right?
Yeah.
Maybe he's not doing it good enough. But now you have one AI working all of them equally.
It's very interesting.
So our dealers to come in and they're able to decrease ad spend, increase profit, and then also reallocate some of their resources, like their sales team or BDC teams, from sitting there and responding to leads half-assed, to be honest, and send them out and give a good customer experience. Make sure that car is ready for the test drive. Make sure it's, it's clean and beautiful, whatever that is. So there's just a lot of things that are changing.
Fucking say it.
Yeah.
John, as someone who buys over 1,000 vehicles per month for some of the biggest car dealerships in the nation, what is the most critical mistake that you see car dealerships make when it comes?
Oh, shit, I screwed up. Relying too heavily on auctions.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yeah.
There's more sources for good quality pre-owned vehicles, and the private party marketplace is an excellent place to get better conditioned vehicles at better prices that you can turn much faster.
Okay. Why is that? Why do you think that is?
Well, think about what goes to the auction. What do you do as a dealer? Do you send your best cars to the auction? No, you send the ones that you can't sell. And every dealership sends the ones they can't sell. So the next guy buying it is buying a car that didn't sell on another dealership.
Like the answer was good. What do you think is going to happen to car dealerships in the next 5 to 10 years that don't adopt AI?
Find a different profession. I think 5 to 10 years is way too far in the future. I think we're looking at 1 to 2 years. And the way that you can look at that is when you talk to dealers before the internet was around, right? Most of them said, I'll never need a website. I have walk-in traffic. Where do you think those dealerships are today? They're closed down, right? They don't exist anymore.
Right.
And so you have 25% of the market that are on the forefront of new technology. And at this point, having AI, it's not really being on the forefront of new technology. That technology is about 2 years old. But the dealerships that are now using agents that can execute on their behalf, I would say they're on the forefront of new technology. So if you haven't even made it to the step where you have AI tools implemented, you are so far behind now that if you don't start to adopt, it's going to be difficult for you to compete with the dealerships that are running their businesses more efficient, has more profit, more revenue.
So you think car dealerships that don't adopt AI within the next 1 to 2 years, they're going to go out of business?
Yes.
No, that's fine.
It's the truth.
It's
I don't even
true,
think it's
though.
going to be that long. I
You
think
don't
we're going to
think?
see an amazing explosion of technology in the next 6 months. Unbelievable. Unparalleled.
Yeah.
What do you go by?
J-Mac.
J-Mac. Like
J-Mac.
J-Mac said, we had a team of 150 people responding to leads. That was 2 years ago. In one day, we switched to having none.
Yeah.
And so,
And did a better job at it.
and did a better job at it. So the most critical thing for dealers right now is figuring out how can I leverage AI tools to become the smartest at using this tool to innovate my dealership and promote my business and move my business forward.
Yeah.
You're just not going to survive if not. And I'm not talking about just sales. It's going to be everything. Even internally in our company, there's been a lot of things that we've been able to make significantly more effective than we ever could before. That doesn't mean we let go of people. It just means that those people can move on to higher level tasks that bring more value in for our company.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, again, that misconception of AI is going to take our jobs, it's not. I mean, to some degree it might.
Yeah.
But the big thing is it allows you to work on higher level things. I heard an example of a school teacher actually talking about this, about the problems with AI and ChatGPT going into schools. And she said, back when the calculator came out, we didn't just stop teaching math, right? We just made math harder. So people were able to do math at a higher level because now they had a machine that could help them. And I think that's the same way to view AI, is it doesn't stop us from working necessarily or doing things. It just allows us to do much more complicated and bigger tasks than we ever could before, more efficiently. Yeah.
Why do you think these car dealerships haven't adopted it yet? Like, do you think they think it's hard to do? Do you think it takes a lot of time? Do you think that they think it takes a lot of
Sorry, we'll cut that out.
Yeah.
I think there's 3 common misconceptions which deters a lot of dealers from using it. One thing that we hear is dealers tried it early on, like a year ago, 2 years ago, and a lot of companies took 3-4 weeks to onboard them. And by the time they'd gone through all these hurdles and hassles to get it set up, for it to not work, which is really, really disappointing to them. And they didn't want to go through that again. There are companies, including Hammer, where it takes 72 hours for everything to be set up, with the upfront investment on your end being a 30-minute phone call. And then the team takes care of the rest, right? So a common misconception is it's going to take forever. The other one is, I have tried AI before and it didn't work. And then you ask them, when did you try it? And they say, well, 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. Well, AI wasn't around 5 years ago. What they tried and what they used was bots. The same bots we discussed that says, what's your name and phone number, what's your name and phone number. And that's not the same thing. Since AI came out, it's gotten 1 billion times smarter. Like in the beginning, it was over a year. Now it's almost every 2 months, it grows 10x or 100x in context window and intelligence and reasoning. So dealers that say, I've already tried it and it didn't work, they got to get back in the market and try the new stuff that's coming out, because it just doesn't compare to the bots they tried 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm. And that's how Hammer's set up as well. As ChatGPT or OpenAI comes out with new products, we actually implement it into our products.
Yeah.
So dealerships are experiencing the latest, greatest technology at all times.
Yeah. And I would say the last conception, I think, a misconception that a lot of dealers have is that it's not customizable. It's a one-size-fits-all. And there are a lot of companies out there that operate that way for profit, which makes sense. But with our company specifically, everything is customizable, down to tone, typing speed. You want it to be more human-like, slow it down. Mm-hmm. You can do that. You can name your agent. You can pick character traits. You can pick what's the outcome you're going for. Maybe you're a cash-only dealership, then don't push for credit applications, right? We're pushing for appointments.
Right. And it's multilingual as well, right?
Multilingual, right? So it solves so many problems for dealers. But
we're talking about a savant right here.
Yeah.
We're talking about a savant sales guy.
Yeah.
Person.
And I think they just tried things in the beginning that was kind of like an off-the-shelf thing that wasn't customized to.
Here's a quick word from our sponsors. Hammer.
It picks that one.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, AI is going to enrich our lives in so many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It really is.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I was kind of terrified. Like when I was like, I had so much anxiety. I was like, it's
Really?
moving too fast for me. Like I can't keep up with it. And then I saw this girl that was like, this is the greatest thing ever. Like, stop stressing. She's like, you wanted to be a developer? You can now be a developer. You want to build a website? You can now build a website.
Yeah.
You want to run a business without ever having to lift a
It's amazing to me. I love it.
I was like, that's such a freeing mindset on it, you know?
True. Good point.
I think for automotive, there are some scary things like, the need for cars as a general public, I think is going to go down if stuff like self-driving cars come out, right? You have Elon Musk that, for one, is the manufacturer of it. He has the money to buy them.
Yeah.
He has the money to flood, like, let's say a city like Austin with cars.
Sure.
And at that point, at all times, I think it's
But there's a lot of people that like driving cars that don't want to be driven.
I think it's going to become like
It's going to be
it's like horseback
well, it's
riding.
going to be enriching your life. Like if you want it,
Yeah.
if you want to do it, it's a car,
Like
that's,
driving
a regular car.
But I wonder if that's a generational thing. Like if the younger generation that never had and grew up with that kind of culture around cars,
Yeah.
are they going to grow up and say, why would I buy a car and have car insurance and have problems with it when I can just click a button, there's a car here within a minute? Uber is really the
maybe that's
prototype
the
of it.
generation that doesn't even drive yet. You know,
Yeah.
So it's still a little ways out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. I
And
just
if
think
that
one of the greatest joys is driving a car.
Yeah.
Pretty
For
fun.
me, it is.
It's fun.
It's pretty fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, maybe it's going to be like horseback riding, where now you go to a track and go ride a horse. Maybe it's
Yeah.
going to be like with cars.
Yeah.
Like the only thing on the road is going to be
Yeah.
self-driving cars,
Well,
and then
when
you're going to go to a track to go. You want to go drive an ICE?
Maybe.
You
Go
know,
to a track.
you think about it, like in
Maybe.
Europe, where there's so many regulations around like green energy and no emissions and all the stuff they're doing. Having these self-driving cars and regulating how, like, not that I agree with this, but regulating the cars that you can own yourself is actually beneficial. Because I think it's at any given point, only 10% of the cars that people own are in use, right? Like I drive to
Yeah.
work, it takes me 10 minutes, and my car sits there
Sits there.
Yeah.
for like 8
And it
to
could
10
be doing
hours.
something else for you, making money.
Exactly.
It could be delivering
So now it
packages
could be
or-
driving out, right? So I think it could, one scenario could be that you stop owning cars and it just, you have this.
I think it's be a combination of all this stuff.
Yeah.
I just don't think there's any one exact solution. I mean, Elon Musk wants everyone to buy his Teslas and use them for their livelihood and their transportation, all that kind of stuff. But he may not have that power, that impact on the
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
I think there's resistance to somebody's great,
Plan.
capitalized dreams.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, people want other things.
I
yeah.
definitely would keep my car.
You would keep it?
I would keep my car.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
Not
go.
because I love driving, but just,
'Cause you love your car.
I just
Just as
freedom.
a backup
It's the
plan?
freedom.
Yeah.
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 I don't want to be waiting around. I don't want to
Yeah.
be dependent on something.
Well, also, if
But
you
I'll still take
think about
advantage of it. I like it.
Yeah, it's a good technology. It's taking advantage of the newest technology. But yeah, as far as like freedom,
Yeah.
imagine everything's electric, and everything is is controlled by
Yeah.
some central location. Because I don't know how else it's
Yeah.
controlled. I mean,
I think
somewhere
humans-
it's being
I think the human spirit is
controlled.
still going to resist being controlled.
It wants It wants
want
freedom.
freedom, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That makes
I think
sense.
AI is going to really enhance and complement our lives. Like the idea of just having an agent in my world, I would totally utilize that.
Yeah.
Oh my
but I
God.
wouldn't want that agent to be able to tell me what I can and can't do,
Yeah.
Yes.
or limit what I really want to do anytime that I want to do it. So that's the agent would have to be there. It's just going to be who's going to control these. It's going
Who's
to be
gonna
humans
control?
or is it going to be AI?
Yeah.
Who's going to ultimately have control? It's going to be Armageddon.
It's a battle.
Terminator, all of that stuff. Yeah, but I'll be
Yeah.
long gone before then, so I'm not worried.
Yeah.
Let me get out of your way.
J Mac.
Excuse me.
You're the
Yeah.
best.
See you,
Thank
dude.
you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Oh, let me get my phone. My phone is down here.
Oh,
Reach
really?
it.
Sorry. Where?